with a couple of clarifications. First of all, the word mandate has come up repeatedly during this hearing, and I just want to make sure everybody understands there is no mandate. What there is a tax incentive. And for those of us who believe in traditional economic policy, what the tax incentive is there to do is to offset the negative externality of all of the pollution that comes out of an internal combustion engine that society at large pays for, but is not baked into the price of the vehicle. And you can go all the way to Milton Friedman to get the economic theory that supports that. Second, EVs have been more expensive than internal combustion engines, largely because of a market decision by the electronic vehicle innovators to come in at the high end of the market. Because Tesla, for instance, could compete with Maserati and Lamborghini on performance. And so, of course, they came in at the high end of the market, particularly when you're starting with small initial manufacturing runs. But as the market has grown, costs are now coming down to where it's maybe $1,000, $2,000 difference between the average EV cost and the average internal combustion engine cost, just around $50,000 in each case. There are available electronic vehicles that are less expensive than the average internal combustion engine now. So depending on what you want to choose, if you want to go and compete with Maseratis, you can go to the high end, but they're also cheaper than average internal combustion electric vehicle options. And the last thing I'll point out is that while tire emissions are obviously real, and tire emissions are greater from an electric vehicle than an internal combustion vehicle because the electric vehicle is A, heavier because of the battery, and B, higher performance because it's higher performance. So you have more tire wear, and that creates some additional measure of tire wear-related pollution. To complain about that in the context of tailpipe pollution and tailpipe emissions calls to mind the old biblical verse about the mote in your own eye, or the mote in your brother's eye compared to the beam in your own eye. The beam here is tailpipe emissions, which pollute enormously and create massive climate risk. And I agree that tire emissions need to be dealt with, but if you put them to scale and compare their hazard for humankind and for local health, it's mote versus beam. So with that, let me say that questions for the record are due by noon tomorrow, with signed hard copies delivered to the committee clerk in Dirksen 624. In particular, Ms. Gross and Dr. Jenkins, if you could even perhaps coordinate on recommendations for us in that peak shaving space. However you want to do it is fine, but I'd love to get those in. And we ask that our witnesses respond to those questions within 7 days of receipt, so that would be within a week if you guys could do that. With no further business for the committee, the vote on the floor has already begun, and our hearing is adjourned. Thank you.